hopefully quick comparison video between 5 different AR-15 triggers. Up here I have the Hiperfire Hipertouch 24C. Here I have a Mil-Spec trigger that I have added a few parts to and done what I call my $35 trigger job on. I have a Geissele SD-E here. This is a Rock River 2-stage, or I think it's National Match 2-stage, or maybe it's just a match 2-stage. Anyway, and this is a Velocity 3-pound single-stage trigger. Alright, here I have my $35 AR trigger job. After some comments on the last video, some people mentioned that I'd probably get more consistent results if I put the lowers in a vise, so that's what I'm going to do this time. I'm going to zoom in on the trigger so you can see what kind of break it has, and I'm going to do 5 pulls with the Lyman trigger pull gauge, and we'll see how it goes. And here we go. First pulls, 4 pounds 2 ounces. Second pull, 3 pounds 14 ounces. Third pull, 3 pounds 14 ounces. Fourth pull, 3 pounds 13 ounces. Fifth pull, 3 pounds 14 ounces. So you can see that averages right at 3 pounds 15 ounces. So that takes a stock Mil-Spec trigger down to just under 4 pounds with practically no creep whatsoever. And I will probably be making a video soon on how I do this. It's very simple with just a few handheld tools, and as you can see, it's very worthwhile for the money. Alright, this is a Rock River Arms National Match 2-stage trigger. We'll zoom in and see how it goes. Alright, so this is a 2-stage trigger, so the pull is going to be a little bit different than the last trigger, but you'll see that. Here we go. So there's the first stage. It comes to another wall, and that measures 3 pounds 6 ounces. Second pull, 3 pounds 6 ounces. Third pull, 3 pounds 5 ounces. Fourth pull, 3 pounds 5 ounces. £3 6 ounces, which averages out to be 3 pounds 5 ounces. So this trigger runs a little under $100, or right around $100, depending on where you find it. It's a good trigger for the money. Compared to some of the others, it's a little gritty during that first stage, and that may clean up with use. It's got a pretty crisp break once you get to that first, or that wall, as you can see. It's not my preference, and you'll see why with the next trigger we look at, but for the money, if you're looking for a really nice trigger under $100, it's very nice for what it is. Like I said, I prefer something a little different, and you'll see that, but there's certainly nothing wrong with this trigger. This is the Velocity 3 pound single stage trigger. This one runs about $125 to $135 ship, depending on where you find it. So let's see how it measures up. 5 pulls with the Velocity 3 pound single stage. 3 pounds 6 ounces. 3 pounds 9 ounces. 3 pounds 8 ounces. 3 pounds 12 ounces. And 3 pounds 7 ounces. And that averages out to be 3 pounds 8 ounces, which was the same, or very similar to what I got before, about 3 pounds, or 3.5 pounds, excuse me. But as you can see, it's a very, very crisp pull. There is practically no pre-travel before it breaks. It's a drop-in trigger, pretty easy to install. I'll probably end up doing a shortened version of the install video that I already have posted. I'll probably go back and re-edit it and take out a bunch of the unnecessary stuff and try and make it shorter for people. But anyway, for the price, I think this is the go-to trigger. I found out that they do make a flat trigger, which I'm a big fan of, and so I will probably be looking at one of those very soon. But for the price, I just really do not think you can beat this. I would prefer to spend the extra $30 or $35 or so to get one of these over one of the Rock River 2-stage trigger any day of the week. Alright, this is the Geissele SD-E trigger. It is also a 2-stage like the Rock River. Of course, this one costs over twice as much, and so you'll see the difference momentarily. Alright, here's 5 pulls with the Geissele SD-E. There's the first stage. Right, 2 pounds 11 ounces. 2 pounds 15 ounces. 2 pounds 14 ounces. 2 pounds 13 ounces. 2 pounds 12 ounces. And that averages out to be 2 pounds and 13 ounces. As you can see, it's got a little bit of a first stage. It's much more, it's much smoother than the Rock River trigger, and it's quite a bit lighter, but of course it costs twice as much. Of course, that second stage break is just so crisp. For any kind of precision shooting, or even for a lightweight hunting trigger in an AR, this is the one I would recommend. And last, but certainly not least, is the Hiperfire Hipertouch 24C trigger. Now, this is on my competition lower, and you will see why. 5 pulls with the Hiperfire Hipertouch 24C. 2 pounds 6 ounces. 2 pounds 3 ounces. 2 pounds 1 ounce. 2 pounds 3 ounces. And 2 pounds 2 ounces, which averages out to be 2 pounds and 3 ounces. Now this trigger does have a little bit of movement right before it breaks, just a little bit, compared to especially the Velocity or any really good 2-stage like a bolt action rifle, like a Remington 700 trigger. But for competition use, it's crisp enough, it's light enough. I had a Geissele SD-3G in here before I got this one, and for longer range stuff, it just really didn't have any sort of wall to it or any sort of a crisp break. It was just it was a very random break, which was, I guess, could be nice in some ways. It was very quick and very fast with follow-up shots. But for any kind of precision stuff or longer range, say 200-300 yard shots, this is my go-to right here. It's very nice. To be honest with you, I could probably swap the velocity trigger in here and wouldn't have a bit of trouble for half the price. I did win a rifle side match at one of the local IDPA matches here a couple months ago with the velocity trigger, so it's very capable. But this trigger is just so nice. I really, really love this one. Of course, your wallet takes a hit when you buy it, but it is what it is, I suppose. So anyway, if you have any questions, please comment below. If you have any recommendations for future videos, any sort of comments at all, please let me know. I'm happy to hear them. And hopefully we'll have some more videos shortly, especially one of the how-to video on my $35 trigger job. Hopefully that'll be coming up here pretty soon as I get a chance. Thanks.